I am speaking to you now, beloved, and I do not want you to miss a single word, because I am not just sending a feeling to your heart, I am placing a lantern in your hand for the path that looks dark to you. Something happened to your soulmate's family, and the ripples of that hidden event are touching the edges of your life even when you think you are standing far from their river. They have no choice but to face what I am unveiling. Listen carefully. Your heart has been asking whether the sudden coldness, the strange pauses, the half-answers and delayed messages were about you. It was never about your worth. It was about a pressure building around the people who shaped your soulmate, a pressure that required a confession, an admission, a turning, a setting down of pride. I have pressed their household like grapes in a press to bring out the truth, and the truth is beginning to flow, not to drown you, but to cleanse a history that has smudged the edges of what could be between you and the one I joined to your destiny. Do not be afraid of what looks like silence. It is not rejection, it is reverence before a door I am commanding to open. Your soulmate is standing in a hallway of decisions while voices tug at their sleeves. Some voices are old debts. Some are the stubborn opinions of relatives who mistook control for care and secrecy for protection. I am breaking the style of silence in that family, and when silence breaks, sound is messy at first, raised tones, tears, a slammed door, a phone thrown face down, eyes looking away. Do not confuse the sound of breaking with the loss of blessing. The sound you hear is not the end. It is the opening of a safe that held what belongs to you both, space to love without hiding, time to plan without sabotage, and the dignity to stand without apology for being chosen. You wondered if you imagined the warmth in their eyes. You did not. You wondered if you heard me in the small confirmations I sent, the message that arrived at the exact hour you cried, the bird that kept returning to the same spot, the unexpected dream with a house and 2 keys. I sent them. Those were not random. Those were rehearsal moments so that when this storm formed around their family, you would not think I lost the script. I have not lost the script. I wrote it. What is happening is not punishment, it is purification. I am not removing them from you. I am removing the grip of people who tried to write the ending that only I have the right to write. There is someone in that house who said words you were never meant to carry. It will never work. They are not one of us. We have already decided. Those words were stones placed in a basket and hung from your soulmate's shoulders. That weight made them slow to respond, slow to dream, slow to defend what I whispered to them about you in the quiet. But today I am cutting the cords that hung that basket. Someone else in that family, one who used to agree with the loudest voice, has turned suddenly and will say, enough. That enough is the hinge of the door. You are not required to argue with a door. Hinges obey only the one who forged them. You are required to keep your oil ready, because when the door swings, it will swing all at once. I see your tenderness. I see how you protect what you love by walking softly. I see the times you chose prayer over panic, and silence over shame. I honor this. I am not asking you to perform. I am asking you to prepare. Prepare room in your schedule for a conversation that will ask your heart to expand. Prepare words that are yes without trembling and no without guilt. Prepare to be seen, not as a rumor, not as a shadow, but as the person I have been unveiling in you these months, patient, strong, discerning, kind. You will not have to sell your value. I am putting a light on it. You will not have to beg for basic respect. I am training someone in that family to return what they took from many with their control, honor. Do not misread the strange message you receive soon. It may look like they are pulling away further, but it is the last attempt of an old pattern to keep ownership. Patterns do not leave quietly. But patterns are not people, and people are the ones I rescue. I will show you the difference. When the old pattern says, choose us or choose them, I will put a sentence in your soulmate's mouth that they have never been allowed to say, I choose truth. And truth will not embarrass you. Truth will not belittle them. Truth will not humiliate anyone. Truth will simply lift the lid. Under that lid are things you did not know about, financial strains, a promise made on a fearful night, an agreement signed with the ink of anxiety, a plan mapped out by someone who used to feel invisible and decided to control what they could. When that lid is lifted, do not rush to label anyone as an enemy. Leave judgment in my hands. Keep boundaries in yours. You are safe to love and safe to say no. I am teaching you both the holy art of healthy definition. You asked me why I sent you signs that a meeting was near and then allowed a detour. I did not cancel the meeting, I upgraded its purpose. If you had met earlier, you would have held hands in a fog. I am clearing the fog so that when your fingers touch, neither of you is halfway elsewhere. You will not have to compete with a family's unspoken crisis for attention. I am pulling the crisis into daylight and placing it on a table where it can be named, sorted, fixed, forgiven, released. I am giving one person in that house a dream where they see the timeline they tried to control unravel into a tapestry that is better because they loosened their grip. They will wake with a softness in their chest they believed impossible. This is my work. Watch quietly. Bless generously. Answer softly. I am not asking you to turn into a counselor, I am asking you to remain a witness of grace. Now hear me, there will be an apology. It will not arrive dressed in perfect words. It may be crooked, shy, too short, or too late for the day you suffered, but it will be real. Accept it without swallowing your boundaries. You do not need to invite every voice from that house to your table. You need only to forgive what their fear tried to do. Forgiveness is not the same as permission. Forgiveness is the release of your heart from their control so that your discernment can work without bitterness blurring your vision. And discernment is what will keep your steps from stepping into traps set by old expectations. I am not returning you to the same cycle. I am tracing a new path and engraving it with peace. Your soulmate has heard things about you that were designed to make them hesitate. Some of those words came from people who smile at you, and some came from people you have never met. But whether public or hidden, I am reversing their effect. The very tales spun to diminish you will become the backdrop that makes your steady character undeniable. Someone will say, they didn't fight back, they didn't throw stones, they just kept walking. That sentence will not be used to dismiss you as weak, it will be used to confirm that the strength I put in you is not performance, it is personhood. There is a trip I am arranging, tighter in timing than anyone would have planned, that will put your soulmate at a table with exactly one relative who matters and exactly one document that matters. When the pen touches paper, a decision will be sealed that removes an old obligation and clears space for new loyalty. You will hear about this after, not before. Do not be offended by being told later, it is protection. The fewer opinions in the room when freedom is signed, the better. Wait with dignity. Your news will come like rain on a quiet roof, soft, steady, undeniable. I am also speaking to you about your own house. Clean a corner where you have stacked the later tasks of your life. There is a symbolic act here, make space on a shelf. It is not superstition. It is agreement with what I am delivering. Clear away the dusty permission slips you gave to anxiety months ago, the ones that said, if they delay, I must delay my joy. Tear those slips. Your joy does not depend on hurry or on anyone's perfect behavior. Your joy is a river that comes from me, and I am not late to my own river. Drink. When you drink, you hear me better. When you hear me better, you answer softer. When you answer softer, doors open smoother. This is not manipulation, this is maturity. I am raising you both into it. There will be a small gift, something simple, not expensive, placed in your hand or on your doorstep by someone connected to them. It is not a bribe. It is not a trap. It is a token of changed heart posture. Receive it with thanks and do not inflate it into a promise or deflate it into nothing. Let it be what it is, a sign that stubborn ground can grow green again. Later, there will be a bigger gesture, but I do not want you to run ahead in your mind. Stay here. Walk one obedient step at a time. The enemy of your soul wants to bait you into extremes, either daydreaming yourself into a high you cannot sustain or despairing yourself into a low I never authored. I am your balance. Hold my hand. Now I address the words you heard secondhand, the sentence somebody reported to you that pierced like a shard, you will never. I have seen every time that phrase replayed in your memory. I break it now. My word over you is not never, but nevertheless. Nevertheless I will finish what I began. Nevertheless I will carry you when their opinions run out. Nevertheless I will redeem the time you call wasted, I never waste what is willing to be surrendered. The event in their family snapped a chain that ran through generations, a chain braided with pride, fear, and secret debts. Breaking a chain shakes everything it once linked. The shaking is not your fault, and it is not your burden to calm every rattled thing. Your assignment is to remain soft without being small, brave without being loud, wise without being hard, hopeful without being naive. I will teach you how. There will be a conversation where your soulmate says, "I thought I had to choose between peace and you. Now I understand that real peace is with you." When they say this, resist the quick temptation to ask for explanations of every silence. Ask instead for alignment. How do we move forward at a pace that honors both of us? What do we share, and what do we keep private until roots grow deeper? What would healing look like on normal Tuesdays, not just on holidays or dramatic nights? Their answer will surprise you with its thoughtfulness. Do not ruin a gift by tearing apart its wrapping in suspicion. Inspect gently. Believe what is trustworthy. Confirm with action over time. You are not racing a clock, you are planting a garden. I am sending an elder, older in body or simply older in soul, to speak life over this connection. Their words will sound like a blessing whispered on a porch, something about hands working together, something about laughter returning to rooms that forgot its sound. That elder once spoke harshly because they were afraid of losing influence. I reached them while they were alone and showed them a picture of how legacy rots when love is caged. They surrendered. This surrender becomes a wooden beam that strengthens the roof you will build. Not every voice from that house will support you. But I am not forming a choir, I am setting a foundation. Foundations do not need applause, they need agreement. Agree with me. If you see one last flare of drama, do not enter the circle. Let it spin out without your energy. This flare will try to provoke you through a friend leaning their ear toward gossip, or a message sent with an innocent smile that is not innocent. Answer with brevity and blessing. You do not have to explain, defend, or perform purity. Your restraint will be a sermon that no one can heckle. The person who hoped to bait you will tire. The person who hoped to confuse your soulmate will lose their script. The enemy despises boredom. Give him none of your attention, he will move on. Keep your attention in me. I am the one writing all the necessary lines. Now hear the future I am placing in front of you like a table set before a long walk. There is a shared decision regarding work or location that felt impossible because too many hands were on the map. I am folding the map to the right square. A job opens or a schedule shifts with a favor no resume could earn. The timing that others called unrealistic turns precise. Your strength returns, not as a shout, but as a steady morning where coffee tastes like courage and the air feels like permission. You will be surprised by how ordinary the miracle looks, two people canceling a plan that kept them apart, two signatures side by side, a calendar with shared rest, a key handed over without strings, a new boundary held without drama. This is the texture of answered prayer. Not fireworks for a night, but fire in the hearth for a lifetime. I am also healing a private tenderness in you, a bruise left by earlier stories where you gave more than you received, where promises were coins that never bought bread. I place balm there. I remove the echo that says, if I hope, I will only be embarrassed. Hope in me is never a setup for humiliation. Hope in me is how you breathe in a smoky room until I open the window. I am opening that window. You will sleep and wake without the tightness in your chest that made mornings feel like a test. I speak deep ease into you, not laziness, not complacency, but an ease that says, I am allowed to be loved without auditioning. When the message arrives, the one you will want to read twice, because it will feel unreal, read it, step outside, and let the sky witness your yes. You do not need to announce your joy to your enemies. You do not need to give a speech to convince anyone who is committed to misunderstanding you. You need only to stand where I place you and answer without shaking. Your yes will not betray your past self who protected you by staying alone, it will honor them. They built a safe house. You will build a home. A final thing, I am giving you a sign that requires no decoding. A phrase you once wrote to yourself, something simple but precious, will be spoken back to you by your soulmate in a voice that trembles a little and then steadies. It will not be rehearsed, I will put it in their mouth. That moment will be my seal to your heart that the noise has ended and the real work has begun. Work that looks like laughter while you fold laundry. Work that looks like short prayers in the car. Work that looks like looking up and nodding at each other across a room crowded with other people's opinions, with your own calm stronger than any applause. I am not rushing you. I am readying you. The event in their family was the earthquake that realigned a coastline. Now your shoreline will meet theirs without cliffs between. Walk with me. Bless what I bless. Release what I release. Guard what I give. Celebrate without gloating. And remember this, you were not chosen as a token, you were chosen as a partner in a story I loved before either of you could spell love. Your tears are counted, not as a record of pain, but as an investment that now matures. Your patience was a seed, not a silence. It is sprouting now in places you cannot yet see. I am not done, but I am very near. Do not skip this piece. This piece is the doorway to everything else I promised. Listen, beloved, I am speaking to you now because your heart has been straining to hear me through the noise of the day and the ache of the night, and I will not allow confusion to be the final voice you hear. I have set my eyes upon you, and I have come near to lift the veil that others tried to pull over your sight. Don't try to skip this. Don't look away. I am placing a lamp in your hands, and the path you could not see is about to glow beneath your feet. I am God who keeps his promises. I am God who is not late. I am God who sends help into rooms where doors have been shut by fear. You have wondered why the wind shifted so suddenly and why the air around your life felt thick with unspoken words, because something moved in the story of your soulmate's family, and the movement has touched you like a ripple that begins far from the shore yet turns to a wave by the time it reaches your knees. I saw it all. I heard every whisper. I measured every heartbeat. I have not come to stir anxiety, but to anchor you in truth and teach your spirit how to breathe again. Something happened to your soulmate's family. They have no choice but to step toward truth now. The walls that hid old agreements, silent vows, and unfinished grief have begun to crack under the weight of what I am revealing. There were words spoken at a table when they thought no one would ever know. There were decisions made out of fear when they believed fear could protect them. But fear is a poor guardian and a worse counselor. I am not exposing them to shame them, I am confronting darkness to free them. I am not dismantling the home, I am rebuilding the foundation. I am not stirring conflict, I am stirring conscience. What has been buried is surfacing, not to ruin your hope, but to remove the stone that kept it from rising. Do not be afraid of the tremor you feel, it is the earth making room for a new root to take hold. You asked me for confirmation, and I am giving you more than a sign. I am giving you understanding. Your soulmate has carried a pressure that did not start with you. Their silence around certain subjects was not rejection of you, it was the weight of generational patterns tightening around their chest. I watched them rehearse sentences in their mind, then swallow them back because they feared how their family would react. They didn't want you to be caught between loyalty to them and the storm they anticipated if truth broke loose. Don't misinterpret the pause as indifference. The pause was a battleground, and I am stepping into that battleground as commander of peace. You won't believe what he said, you will never forget it, because what he said wasn't what his heart wanted to say. Fear spoke first. Shame tried to speak louder. But I am teaching him the vocabulary of courage and repentance. When he said, "Maybe this is not the right time," his heart was whispering, "I'm scared to lose you while I am trying to rescue my family." When he said, "I need space," his spirit was pleading, "I need sanctuary." I am answering both. I am giving him space that becomes sanctuary, and I am giving you patience that becomes power. Do not despise the days that look quiet, they are full of the construction sounds of heaven, beams being set, windows being framed, doors being hung where there were only walls. I am healing the relationship he has with his own reflection. I am moving through memories where he learned to keep peace by losing himself. I am breaking an agreement with silence that began long before he met you. Hear me, I am not asking you to become the savior of his story. I am the savior. I am not asking you to fight people, I am teaching you to love truth. Do not wage war with the names of those who are afraid, stand with the name that is above all names. I will show you when to speak and when to be still. I will teach your voice to be a key that turns rather than a hammer that shatters. I will wrap you in discernment so you do not carry what is not yours to carry. There is a message that must reach your heart tonight. You are not losing what I am giving. You are not falling behind. You are not being ignored by heaven. You are being positioned. I am setting a table in the presence of your doubts. I am pouring oil on your weary forehead. I am causing your cup to run over precisely when you expected it to run out. Listen, there will be a conversation, initiated from their side, and the tone of that conversation will be different. It will not be laced with control or coated in politeness that hides resentment. It will be honest. It will be messy, but it will be holy. I will bring a confession into the open, not to humiliate but to heal. A certain person has tried to steer the ship with strings tied to fear, and when those strings snap, there will be turbulence. Hold my hand. Turbulence cannot tear a plane apart that I have designed to land safely. You will feel the shaking, you will not be shaken. I am instructing you on 3 quiet obediences. First, obey me by guarding your heart from the poison of assumption. Assumptions are the old letters of a language that never finished spelling the truth. When you feel the urge to fill the silence with a painful story, lift it to me and say, "Write your sentence here, Lord." I will. Second, obey me by blessing what I am healing, even when you cannot see it. Bless his courage when it stammers. Bless his family when they tremble. Bless yourself when you feel that familiar ache knock on the door of your chest. Blessing is not denial, it is alignment. Third, obey me by preparing your home and your mind for the peace you asked me for. Clean the corners of your thoughts where you stored old disputes for proof. You will not need those exhibits in the court of reconciliation. Make room for laughter you'll be tempted to postpone. Make room for rest you'll think you must earn. Make room for love to speak without shouting over yesterday. I am also addressing your fear of timing. You looked at dates and counted days and started believing the calendar was stronger than my covenant. Child, I made the sun and called the moon by name. I do not ask the clock for permission. The "too late" you dread is a mirage built by exhaustion. When you walk closer, it evaporates. Watch me gather what felt scattered across months into moments that make sense. Watch me tie threads you didn't realize were part of the same tapestry. A conversation that failed last season will flourish now because the soil of the heart has changed. The same seed behaves differently in rain than in drought. I am sending rain. Something happened to your soulmate's family, and the phrase, "they have no choice but," has been echoing in your spirit like a half-finished line. Hear how I complete it. They have no choice but to see what I am showing, to feel what I am softening, to admit what I am uncovering, to bend where pride kept them rigid, to release where control kept them cramped. I am kind, but I am not timid. My kindness breaks chains. My mercy confronts lies. My love is a lion, and though I come gently to cradle the fearful, I roar against the fear that cages them. Expect a shift in the person who always had something to say. Expect a phone call that begins with, "I didn't understand, and I'm sorry." Expect the atmosphere to feel strange on the first day because peace sounds louder than noise when the heart has been trained to expect thunder. Sit with it. Breathe. You are not waiting for the other shoe to drop, you are hearing shackles drop.